Hey guys, Mosa here, and today I'm bringing you my Week 17 matchup between the Baltimore Ravens and the Houston Texans. Now, without further ado, let's get started. Now, let's kick it off with the injury report of the Houston Texans, starting with defensive tackle Foley Fatukasi with an ankle injury, Shaq Mason, offensive lineman with a knee injury, and offensive lineman Juice Scruggs with a foot injury, all out for the game. Then moving on to defensive end, Nico Autry with a knee injury, who is questionable for this game. Then we move on to defensive end Will Anderson with a hand injury, linebacker Christian Harris with an ankle injury, wide receiver John Mechie with a shoulder injury, tight end Kate Stover with an illness, and guard Nick Broker with a hand injury. Now, when it comes down to it, obviously, the offensive line is crucial, and losing two guys like Mason and Scruggs is going to honestly hinder the Houston Texans heavily. And honestly, I think that the defense, even though there is one defensive player injured and potentially Autry's out as well, which I don't think so, by the way. I don't think Autry will miss this game. Honestly, due to the fact that the offensive line is the number one part of the offense, not quarterback, because without an O-line, you do not have an offense, basically, because you don't got time to throw or run the ball. So I think that, yeah, they're definitely going to suffer on the offensive side due to injury. Now, moving on to the offense of the Houston Texans, we got CJ Stroud at quarterback, running back Joe Mixon, wide receivers Nico Collins, John Mechie III, and Robert Woods, tight end Dalton Schultz, left tackle Laramie Tunzel, Titus Howard at left guard, Jarrett Patterson at center, right guard Kendrick Green, and Blake Fisher at right tackle. Now, when it comes down to it, I honestly believe that the offense will suffer due to their offensive line woes. But honestly, as long as CJ Stroud can get the ball out to Collins and Mechie, I think that will do enough for the Houston Texans to at least get some offensive power into this game. Some miracle play, I don't know. In the end, I think that they're going to do decently, but due to their offensive line, I think CJ Stroud's going to get hit or sacked a lot in this game. Now, moving on to the defense of the Houston Texans, we got defensive ends Will Anderson Jr., Daniel Hunter, and defensive tackles Tim Settle and Tommy Togiai. I don't know if that's how you say it. But then we move on to weak side linebacker Devin White, who is coming in for it and suspended. AZ Ojular, AZ, I don't remember his name. The former 49er linebacker. Then we get Henry Ototo. I don't know how to say it. That's Henry for you. Strong side linebacker Christian Harris. Corners Derek Stingley Jr. and Jeff Okuda. Nickelback Kamari Lassiter. Eric Murray at free safety and Kalen Bullock at strong safety. Now, I think that this defense will do all right. Will Anderson will definitely have to contain, along with Daniel Hunter, Lamar Jackson. They'll probably get a few tackles behind the line of scrimmage with Tim Settle there. Devin White, maybe a few blitzes on him, or Christian Harris, most likely Harris. And honestly, that front seven is pretty decent. But they're going up against Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, so I don't know about that. Then you get, obviously, the secondary with Derek Stingley, Jeff Okuda, and Lassiter, with Murray and Bullock behind them. Now, when it comes to that, I honestly think that's going to be an all right secondary. They got some issues on Baltimore, injury wise, when it comes to the receiving core. So due to that, I think that it's going to be a lot easier for these corners and safeties to face off against that receiving core of the Baltimore Ravens. So I honestly think they'll do decently against Baltimore today. Now, moving on to the injury report of the Baltimore Ravens, we got wide receiver Nelson Aguilar with a concussion, cornerback Jalen Armour Davis with a hamstring injury, Justice Hill, running back with a concussion, all out for the game. Then moving on to wide receiver Zay Flowers with a shoulder injury, and cornerback Tre'Davious White with a shoulder injury, both questionable for the game. Then moving on to safety Bew Brady with a shoulder injury, he's a safety. Offensive lineman Daniel Falele with a knee injury, and offensive lineman Tyler Linderbaum with a back injury. Now, when it comes down to it, I think that Zay Flowers will in fact miss this game, meaning that Lamar is down two receivers, Nelson Aguilar and Zay Flowers, in my opinion. It's going to be like that. So that means that Tylan Wallace will be coming in for an injured Zay Flowers. I think that it's going to still be an alright offense, but due to the fact that they lost a few receivers, they're going to have to rely more on Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson in the run game rather than have a passing game, because obviously you got a good receiver in Rashad Bateman, sort of, and Anthony Miller's also there. But I think that it's so weak that you also have to start using your tight ends, such as Isaiah Likely or Mark Andrews. In the end, it's really going to come down to the offense suffering over the defense. But they also are losing Armour Davis for this game and potentially Tre'Davious White. Now, moving on to the offense of the Baltimore Ravens, we got quarterback Lamar Jackson, running back Derrick Henry, fullback Patrick Ricard, wide receivers Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, and Anthony Miller. But if Flowers cannot go, Tylan Wallace will take over. Tight end, we got Mark Andrews. Left tackle, Ronnie Stanley. Left guard, Patrick McCarry. Center, Tyler Lindenbaum. Daniel Falele with the right guard position, and Roger Rosengarten with the right tackle position. Now, when it comes down to it, I honestly think the offensive line of the Ravens will do a good job, or a decent one at that, on protecting Lamar Jackson and opening the holes for Derrick Henry. Now, the receiving game, that's where we're going to be seeing some issues. If Flowers plays or not, doesn't matter. He's going to have a bit of an issue with that shoulder of his. So over-the-shoulder passes are probably out of the question to at least not injure him more than he already is. But if he doesn't play Tylan Wallace, not really sure about him. But honestly, you still got Rashad Bateman, Isaiah Likely, and Mark Andrews. So I still think you're going to be doing an alright job there, although very hindered. But in the end, they're mostly going to rely on the run game, most likely due to the receiving core injuries. Now, moving on to the defense of the Baltimore Ravens, we got defensive ends Nnamdi Madubike, Broderick Washington, nose tackle Travis Jones, weak side linebacker Odafe Owe, inside linebackers Roquan Smith and Malik Harrison, strong side linebacker Kyle Van Noy, cornerbacks Nate Wiggins and Brandon Stevens, Marlon Humphreys is the nickelback, free safety are Darius Washington and Kyle Hamilton at strong safety. Now, when it comes down to it, I honestly think that their defense in the secondary is the best part. Like, they've got Marlon Humphreys, Nate Wiggins, the rookie. They got Kyle Hamilton back there. Honestly, they got a pretty good secondary with obviously the rookie Nate Wiggins, Marlon Humphreys, and Kyle Hamilton back there. They've got all right linebackers. And as long as the bull rush from the defensive line comes into play, this team will do just fine on defense. Now, in the end, I'm thinking a 28-24 win for the Baltimore Ravens is my conclusion. I honestly think that the Ravens will do a good job. Defensively, I think both teams will have their struggles, but I think that the Ravens defense will most likely struggle at the end of the game. Throughout most of the game, it's going to be potentially like 7 points for the Texans, 14, or maybe even just one touchdown as well, a tie between the two throughout most of the game. First half probably ends with 2 touchdowns by the Baltimore Ravens and 1 by the Houston Texans, or even a touchdown and a field goal. And then, obviously, we have the ending of 28-24. I think that the Ravens definitely have this in the bag. Now, that was it for this video. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Tweet me any video ideas. Also, tell me down in the comments below, who do you think will win and who do you think will lose, the Ravens or the Texans? Tell me down in the comments below. Now, like this video if you liked it, subscribe, and hit the notification if you want more videos. And I'll see you guys next time.